What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of StarChasers, Girls Talk Ball. As you know, it's your girl, Mickey, aka Craven Cowboys. As always, I got my girl Star in the building with me. Sorry, y'all. Like she just said, the tech monster trying to make sure we don't get the show out, but we gonna get this banger out for you guys tonight. How you guys?
Exactly.
How you doing tonight, Star? How you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. I'm sorry, guys. Like we, please believe us. We were spending like an hour ahead of this show, like getting everything set up, and then all of a sudden we
Right,
go live and it just crashes on us, and I'm just like, oh my god. So then Mickey had to get sent the link. It was just so much, but we
right,
sorry about that. We back. We bike. We definitely
right,
gonna.
right. Yeah,
We
y'all
just
gonna get
doing
this content where y'all want that now. Period. Y'all,
exactly.
y'all
We
gonna get
doing
it. Y'all
all
gonna
we
get this.
can to upgrade the show. So just stay tuned in the future weeks. We definitely gonna have some upgrades and some bells and whistles that we wanted to display tonight, but it's not
Right.
happening. But that's okay because we can still give y'all content. Obviously, we've been on a 2-week break. Just we all need breaks. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody
Yes,
needs breaks.
facts.
I need to go on vacation. Even when not going on, when I was back from vacation, I still needed another week just to chill and get myself settled
Right.
back in. But we
Yeah,
glad to be
vacation on
back.
the vacation.
Exactly. We glad to be back. Training camp is here. Training camp is tomorrow. They do their opening press conference tomorrow. I know it's been some doom and gloom, but we here, guys. It's
Right,
football season. It is time to be fans because we are
right,
football. We are Dallas Cowboys football fans. Like, you know what I'm
right,
saying? So
right. Like we can start getting the most of our team, for a reason now, y'all. Like and not to get looked at crazy, you know what I'm saying? So we finally get to see our
exactly.
guys back in pads, of course next week, but we finally get to see the jerseys. We get to see, some stars on some helmets. We get to see some helmets that that won't have stars just yet. You know what I'm saying? They got to, we know these young guys got to come in and earn their spot on the team. But I'm just like Star just said, like we're just very excited to get back to talking real football, hands
Yep.
on, eyes on. You know what I mean? The media guys are going to be out there, starting this week and going to, and for the next month or so.
Mm-hmm.
Getting good looks on our guys, and us being able to, to being able to see our guys, to be able to see these young guys, seeing our vets come back as well, seeing how these two sides really, or how these, I guess I should say these two sides of the ball, offensive, defense, kind of mesh together. We'll be able to see the schemes. McCarthy coming into a second year play calling. Zimmer, of course, a new defensive coach hire that they had in the offseason, be able to come together and actually be able to see what this vision could look like. And before we actually get too deep into a start, actually, I didn't actually do about this beforehand, but that kind of just made me think, like, over the past few years, we see McCarthy kind of bring a theme, each year going to training camp, to the guys,
Mm-hmm.
try to get them, kind of pumped up for the season, just,
Yep.
ready to prepare them, what I'm saying? So, of course, I haven't heard anything. I don't know if, of course, I'm sure, they haven't had the opening press conference just like you said, but I'm just
Mm-hmm.
wondering, I'm trying to get an idea of maybe what kind of idea McCarthy might be coming into this year with, last year was Carpe Omnia, seize the moment. And I think it's gonna, go. I forget what the one was before the year before that, but it just seems to kind of, just kind of, shape. This, in my opinion, kind of shapes the locker room, kind of going into the season, and it also kind
Yeah.
of depends on, the group of guys that we do have. So now with, a different. It is the same guys, but we kind of have a different group, right? We have, younger
Right.
guys coming in, and of course, the young guys that we have from last year who haven't had just
Mm-hmm.
a chance to stand out just yet. So I just think we have a very interesting group of guys coming in. I'm just wondering what McCarthy's going to see in this group, and then what kind of message he's going to try to convey to them going into this year.
Yeah, I forgot to say, guys, before we get started, please like the video. Please like the video. Please
Yes.
share the content. Please subscribe. Uh clearly we work hard for you guys. We don't get paid for this, but we do this because we love the content. We
Right.
love the Dallas Cowboys, and we love you guys who are our supporters who support us not only through your viewership but also those of you who donate. So please help us do that. But yeah, as you said, Mickey, like, what do I think the theme is? I don't know, because I couldn't have guessed that Mike was gonna say Carpe Omnia last year. That
Right.
was just kind of like out of nowhere. Like, he always
Right.
has unique themes. But I will say what would be my theme for this team would be, the first word that came to my mind when you were talking was finish. And so that's what would be my theme if I was the head coach.
Yeah.
It would be finish,
Yeah. Very good point.
Because I think this team, finish, elevate, step up, these are all words that are coming to me. You
Right.
know,
mine is progression. I'd definitely say progression.
progression is good. I would say step up is good because you got a lot of young players. You know what I'm saying? Or honestly, another theme you could say is the time is now. You know what I'm saying? When you got a lot of young players who y'all been sitting on the bench for 2-3 years,
Right.
4 years. Some of y'all have had playing time, but you've had limited snaps. And now it's time to show what you got.
Right.
Like, this is your chance to really make a name for yourself. If you say you're an NFL football player and you deserve to be in this league, now's your chance. Like, everybody in this camp has a chance, a real chance to really make an impact and have a breakout year. It's all about, are they going to step up and do it? Are they capable? We've been seeing these players, and we definitely think that they have talent, no question.
Right.
But talent is not all you need, especially to win in those big games. You need more than talent.
Absolutely.
You need the mental fortitude. You need the ability to be able to be in the bright lights, have everybody hate you and think you suck and think you're going to choke and not choke. And unfortunately, that's been the issue with the Dallas Cowboys. Not saying everybody chokes, but for some reason, and shout out to Jay Tuck of CFO Sports. He did an interview with, what is his name? Gerald McCoy, a former All-Pro. Y'all know we had signed him in 2020, but he never played a snap for us because he was hurt. But Jay Tuck had did an interview with Gerald McCoy, and something interesting that he said, because I think it's a lot of people, and I'm talking about diehard, not just trolls or whatever, but diehard Cowboy fans who really believe that, like, we're too soft, right? That's always the narrative that goes around, like, we're a soft team, it's not competition. Right. But hearing from him, he said that it's extremely competitive.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Now, this is a guy who's been in the locker room. He don't have to say it. He has no ties to the team. As I said, he never played a snap because he was injured. But he said, during the time that I was there, I was shocked because it is extremely competitive. Like, these guys are out here competing at practice, competing at camp. Like, Mike McCarthy has gotten fined multiple times because we're too competitive at camp. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think that's a great point. I think that's a great point you bring up, Star. I think a great example of that, or a great showing of that, is we see just how well UDFAs, really shine here, right? Like we spoke about in our past shows, Marquise Bell. Just last year, Hunter Lipke. We have Wanye Thomas. We could really go down the list of guys that we brought in, undrafted guys, and even guys that we're even looking forward to for this year. We brought in, Imani Johnson. We brought in a lot of UDFA guys. Denzel Daxon, I believe, a defensive tackle. We just bringing in guys. Of course, these are guys we haven't seen yet. And even adding help along with the guys we brought in from the UFL. But we see with the Cowboys that, like you just said, competition is, especially going into this year, but even in previous years, Noah Brown. You know what I'm saying? I think his name was Dennis Houston, I believe, the wide receiver we had a couple years ago, starting week 1 against Tampa Bay.
Did it?
So it's no surprise the Cowboys allow multiple players, like even down to the UDFAs, guys from UFL that they brought in to compete with some of these veterans for these starting positions. And I'm sure not for every starting position on the team, but for these Cowboys to be able to present these young guys and even some of these older guys, with these opportunities to have some of these maybe a starter role as opposed and another I would say like maybe like a supplemental role from some of these guys. Like it gives them opportunities to be able to know what they have, from OTAs leading into the season and even throughout the season.
Yep. And what I have to say is this, and he sound crazy. He talking about he don't believe it. You can't convince him otherwise. Well, the fines is not. That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? Like whether you believe the Cowboys are soft or not, they're one of the few teams multiple times that have gotten fined because their practices are too rough.
Right.
And none of the other, it's not like all the NFL teams are getting fined. Only we're getting fined. So us and maybe one or two more teams a year. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just they hate the Dallas Cowboys and they just want to fine us or whatever. That could be a possibility. But to me, when I look at the team, like I don't see, everybody says softness, but I don't see softness. Every single time we go, what I see is a team that cannot handle success. That's what I see. I don't see a team that sucks, that's talentless, that's a bunch of pussycats. I just don't see that. I don't see that. I don't think Dak is soft. I don't see CD or Micah being soft. I know D-Law's not soft. Like, these are probably not guys that you really want to get into a street fight. Like what I'm saying, go against them. Like these are not guys that are losers. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think
Tyler Smith. We could just get our own line.
Smith,
you know what I'm saying?
Martin, like Cooper. Like we don't really have soft losers. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see that from our team. I don't see any. You know what I'm saying? As far as like,
it's called Cowboys finesse, right? They had like a lot of finesse players. You know what I'm saying? That we weren't. I think it was this last year, maybe 2022, when they were calling us finesse, or we
were saying we were finesse team,
get down and dirty and run the ball. None of that.
I think a big issue with us though is that some of and a lot of those players are now off our team, but some of those guys they just had a certain cap of talent. So when you have guys like Tyler Biadasz, oh my God. Guess who's been working with Duke? It literally just popped up on my phone. Josh Ball.
What? Star, I know you.
I just saw it right here. Josh Ball is working with Duke.
Hey, look, Duke.
Bro, our whole old line is working with Duke. It's
bring
crazy.
Everybody down. He said,
it's like, through. Golly, that's another person. Y'all heard it here first. Josh Ball is working with Duke Manyweather. But anyway,
wow. They really trying to have every option for these.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's putting in that work. Like I really. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't think that the team is soft. I don't think Mike McCarthy is soft. I don't think he's a soft coach at all. What I do think is that they said, "What the F, Josh working with?" Yeah, he trying to stay on this team. Because they drafted 3 offensive linemen. He knows the writing is on the wall for him. But anyway, so he's trying to save his job and But anyway, I think the issue is it's a team that can't handle success. I think when they go in, because remember what Wanye Thomas said before the Green Bay game. He said we were so hype, like we just knew we was gonna beat them. Like there was no lack of confidence. There was no I'm scared. And when you look at our big games, like especially last year, like just focus on last year. When you look at the big games, everybody looks shocked. They look shocked because they're in their heads. They're like, we're not doing anything different. We practice our game plan. What the hell is going on? And y'all always talk about, Dak, that deer in headlights, because maybe have you ever thought about it that Dak is shocked? Like, I literally cannot believe that this is going on right now.
Right.
Like,
I mean, right. I think, and it started with the San Fran game last year. I mean, we saw this and
complete shock. It's like they don't understand because they're like, we practice the same way. We did everything the same. We are confident in our game plan. We watch
Right.
the film. We do all of this, and out before we know it, the score is 10-35. We have no idea what's going. Because that's what Wanye said. He said, literally, bro, it was like we didn't know what was going on. We're in the game. We're trying to make adjustments. Nothing is working. It's like everything we did, we just look sillier and sillier. And so, what I feel like with the team is that there's obviously two things that you got to be able to do to be a championship team. Run the ball, right? Run the ball, stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
In those big games, we hadn't been able to. I mean, every single big game we lost, we could not stop the run. You know what I'm saying? We could limit it. We were limiting it.
Right.
Like in Miami, I think we limited that rushing attack, which was the number 2 rushing attack in the league. Versus the Lions, we limited it. If you think of games like the Seahawks, that game could have been way worse because imagine if they were actually able to run the ball and steal the clock from us. We got lucky in that game because Kenneth Walker was not there. They're starting running back.
Exactly.
So we dodged a bullet, but San Fran can't stop the run. Next game we lost was what? Philly, couldn't stop the run. Then you had Buffalo, couldn't stop the run. Miami, we couldn't. Oh, sorry, the Cardinals couldn't stop the run. Buffalo couldn't stop the run. Miami, we limited the run. You know what I'm saying? So those were the issues. When you can't stop the run, you can't stop anything because when a team is continuously running the ball on you, they're also what? Taking the clock away from you. They're tiring you out. That's a good. They're tiring your defense out, but they're also taking the clock away from you and taking snaps away from you. Like a huge reason why we lost the Buffalo game is because they literally had Josh Allen pass 3 times.
Facts.
I mean, not 3 times. I'm lying. They had Josh Allen pass 11 times, I think. So Dak and CD then wasn't even on the field half the game. Like they weren't even on the field.
Yeah.
And so when you have those issues like that, like that really is the issue. Like in these big games, when it's with equal talent, right? But see, the issue is we hadn't quite had equal talent. We have talent, but the talent has not really been equal. You know what I'm saying? As far as scheme and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point you bring up, Star, because it just seems like, just in my opinion, in previous years, we've had like this, I'll say the starters that we needed, but we didn't necessarily have the depth. It almost seems like
Mina Khan said that. Like, we have these all-stars, but guess what? Good championship teams, they're built all the way through. And we thought we were, but a lot of our depth got wiped out, like in linebacker. You know what I'm saying? That was something we didn't plan for. They didn't plan to get wiped out with linebacker, but they did, and it cost us.
Right. And just like Keystone said, we continue to get beat in our own game, and it's still in question this year. And it's such a shame. I mean, even this late, the day before training camp, we're still wondering when. We're still wondering if we're even going to get another defensive tackle. Yeah, we've been promised.
Wow, I forgot we still haven't got it. I literally forgot we didn't even get a defensive.
They should be sorry, correct? Because it's just like
right.
You know what I'm saying? And now the question is like whether we're going to get. I mean, obviously we have to go in free agency, but it's question whether we can get. We're going to wait till roster cuts if we're going to be able to even get a veteran who is good enough, and if we do. What time is he going to have our squad in training camp? It's the day before training camp starts, and we don't have another big body that we can plug in the middle to be able to, number one, get chemistry with our guys, to be able to learn Zimmer scheme, because all the other guys are going to be learning right now when they start day one tomorrow. But if the guy comes in late, he's going to be even more behind than the guys are learning a new defense as it is. Right. So it's just like why create this conundrum?
What I think they're going to do, what I think Steven is going to do is they want to evaluate these D tackles. They want to evaluate these D tackles, and they want to see what they feel like they really need. And I think they're going to have to go out there and make a trade, or they're going to get a camp cut player. Yeah. And I saw too that they're also interested in trading for a running back or getting a camp cut running back. So
And I think the same scenario I might go. I'm not saying they may go out looking for wide receiver, but I think wide receiver, running back. I think those are two rooms.
Yeah, I think those are yeah.
They're still kind of up in
Yep.
the air right now. Star. I mean, if we're just being honest, we're talking about defensive
Right.
tackle, but we're still. It's been years, Star, and just like we talked about with me, shout out to Mina Khan. Like you said, she had a great interview with. I think his name is Hellman, David Hellman, I believe his name is.
Yeah, Dave Hillman. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy after all these years since we've gotten CD Lamb in 2020, we're still questioning 3 to 4 years later about of course outside having Amari Cooper, of course we have Michael Gallup, but number one, we never got to see those guys all together that many times, and we just never got to, we never even now to this day with Brandon Cooks. We didn't use him properly last year, so we're still trying to find a solid number two for this offense.
Yeah, what I will say here is I too was down on Brandon Cooks, but I feel like I'm doing to Brandon Cooks what people did to Zeke in 2022. What do I mean? When people try to discredit that Zeke had 12 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? 12 touchdowns, how many points is that? 12 times 7 is what? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're talking about a guy that got your team so many points, but everybody tried to discount that because they're like, oh, it didn't matter. It only came inside the 10. I'm sorry, a touchdown is a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy, let me just do the math. 12 times 7. 84 points. Right? Or you just want to say 12 times 6, because if you don't want to give, count Brandon Aubrey, 72 points. Right? So, and Brandon Cooks got us what? He had 8 touchdowns. So that's 6 times 8.
Right.
He gave us 48 points. He gave us 48 points, and he did that all after the bye week.
Right.
So what we need to do with Brandon Cooks is simply get him involved sooner. And you're talking about a guy that's likely going to give you about 10, 11 touchdowns. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about a guy that's going to give you about 10, 11 touchdowns.
Get him in proper space, maybe close to 800 yards. I think last year, maybe
right. Right, you're gonna give
exactly
like if we use Brandon Cooks on the end rounds, just do different stuff. Be creative with Brandon Cooks on screens and stuff like that. He's gonna give you more production. The issue was we weren't really targeting him at the first half of the season, but he still finished the season with 8 touchdowns, clutch touchdowns in big games. Yeah. So I really don't think we have a wide receiver 2 problem. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, you got Jake Ferguson. I think it's been just constantly said, so everybody's believing it. But I think, like, when you actually look at Brandon Cooks' production, it wasn't his fault. Like, he literally wasn't being targeted. Now, him and Dak, that deep ball connection, they did need to solidify that because it was just Dak was consistently overshooting him. I don't know what that was about, but it was just always just a little bit too far. Some of them balls, I'm like, Brandon Cooks, if you had like the Green Bay game, Brandon Cooks, if you just simply put your hands out. Like, I'm not caping for Brandon Cooks because I still think he played a poor game versus Green Bay. But I think when you look at the totality of what he produced over the year, like he's a number 2 wide receiver. Like his production equates to that. When somebody's almost getting you double-digit touchdowns, because getting double-digit touchdowns is that's a good year from any wide receiver. Yeah. So when you look at a guy who was only 2 away and he's your number 2 wide receiver, I think we're fine with I think we're fine with Brandon Cooks, right? I really do. I think we could bring in somebody else, but I don't think that they're going to replace Brandon Cooks in the offense. Yeah. I just don't see that. I don't see them bringing in or trading for a wide receiver where he's going to be replaced. If anything, you're going to bring in somebody. If you don't feel comfortable or confident in Turpin, Tolbert, Brooks, Moreno Cropper, Ryan Florida, if you don't feel confident in that whole bunch, then I can see you. Let's bring in somebody else. But as far as the top 3 targets on the offense, CD, Cooks, Jake Ferguson. Then you brought Zeke, who I don't give a damn what you say about Zeke, but Zeke is a damn good running back out the backfield. You saw that from the Patriots. Right.
What's good, Peasy?
What's up? What's
Hey,
up, the
Big
Big Time
Tom.
Show? Glad to see you. Glad to see you, Big Time. Y'all need to subscribe to the Big Time Show's channel.
Yes,
He's
ASAP.
great guy, got great content. I always try to tune into him, when I can.
Yeah.
Just hearing his take. He has such a fatherly presence.
Yes,
I
for
like
real.
fatherly
For real. Yes.
grandfather bishop type of presence. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
It's too
um,
crazy. I thought it was just me, for real.
no, he does. He does.
I
So
love
I
it. I
really
love it.
like his voice, and I think it's unique for the nation. What's up, Nisi?
Yeah. I'm good,
How's everybody
Niecy.
doing?
How you doing, sis? Thanks for
But
joining us, y'all.
yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah,
my
and I
whole
think
take on that. But
yeah, and just to kind of add, just to kind of sum up that argument, of course, we know what we saw with CD. Hey, JC coming through too. What's
what's
good?
up,
What's
JC
good?
Cowboys? How you doing? Glad to
Yeah,
see
and
you.
of course we know with CD, going through his holdout. We saw the news of him, not reporting to camp. I'm sure,
Correct,
by
right?
the end of the week he's not going to be there.
Yep.
Hopefully,
Yep.
by next week, next couple of weeks, we're here. Hopefully, they said things hadn't been ramped up, but then next thing you know, I mean, just me personally, then I'll see a tweet that said they haven't really talked too deep. I think that's what seeing Todd Archer tweet that said that the talks have really haven't gotten that deep. So I'm sure like every other fan out there is like we don't really
The
know what's going on.
reports, right? The reports are just a mix because Todd Archer says no talks. Then you have Josina Anderson saying they're talking.
Exactly.
Then you have who was it that came out? I forgot who else. There was somebody else that then came out and said it's just been so many conflicting reports.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the offseason, they said Dak was the priority. Then Calvin Watkins puts out a random article and says CD is the priority. But then Calvin Watkins put out another article and said, but they haven't been talking to CD.
Right. It's just
Then you have Josina Anderson say they are talking to CD. Then you have
I saw you tweet out today when they just throw out different numbers because they just want you said like you mentioned about Dak's contract, 60 million.
Absolutely, they just throwing out numbers because they running out of stuff to talk about. Because 60 million is not looking so crazy because really once Trevor Lawrence got that contract,
right,
everybody's like the market is broken now. I mean,
right.
it's really
honestly, you look back,
no way around it.
You look back to Justin Herbert. That's when, in my opinion, when the market was like, okay, so y'all just doing next man up at this point.
Yeah, you right. I didn't even think about that, but I mean, if you
but it's like, you know what I'm saying, and even dare I say it, Lamar Jackson. Like he did get the MVP, but before then he got his contract before then. So it's like what his quote unquote, a playoff record compared to Dak is about the same.
It's about the same. Yeah.
So so of course we know that at this point, just like I said, just in my opinion, at this point, it's just next man up, and that's how it should. I mean, I'm not saying that's how it should be, but we see that happening with different positions. We see, Jay Jetta got paid, different wide receivers getting paid, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. That's what happens. You're the next man up. You're going to get your contract one way or another, but there's also the other side of, everyone puts that pressure on Dak. Other quarterbacks in the league, have they proved it? Well, let me just be honest. Dak gets the pressure. I don't see many other quarterbacks getting that pressure.
Right. No other quarterback gets the pressure that Dak is.
We asked the question, have they proved it? But we can name, we just named at least 3 quarterbacks who haven't really proved it if we're talking about in the same conversation. So.
Right. Like Justin Herbert hasn't proved a damn thing. Like Justin Herbert hasn't done anything.
Right.
His team got him 4 to 5 touchdown interceptions, and he still lost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of stuff where it's like, but consistently, people say he's top 5, top 6. What's up, Toxic?
Right.
I just call you Poppy. What's up, Poppy? How you doing? But
Poppy.
this is what I'm saying. Like, it's just really unfortunate. But I think like, as far as what we've been hearing with CD, it's been mixed signals. But with Dak, it's definitely been that they have been in talks.
Conversations.
They have have been talking to, and Steven chose, and I think I can bring up the interview, sis, from Stephen Jones.
Yeah, while she does that, like Star said earlier, make sure you guys hit the like button, the share button, subscribe. we're still trying to get our follows up. The season, as we know, the season is here now, is ramping up now. So, we're just trying to get our voices out there, trying to, get the six, and, in the words of Henny, trying to manifest those six championship, excuse me.
Six championship, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, let me see if I can share this with y'all. Wait. Here you go. Stephen Jones breaks his silence. Can y'all see it? Oh, there you go, sis. But you just gotta take the thing down. Overlay down. Okay, we're just gonna watch a little bit of this. Obviously, we will have, or we have all the links, in the description. So we don't want any copyright issues. We just trying to listen to this interview real quick. And this is right. Exactly. Shout out to Scoop City. This is Diana Rossini. And apparently this is who Stephen Jones is talking to. I don't know why he likes Diana Rossini. I don't know why he's giving her exclusives or whatever. But
and he was talking to Chase, calling him first name. Yeah, you know what's going on with Chase. And I've been following
so obviously, exactly. So I don't know. Stephen likes them. And Diana Rossini put out again today that she thinks, Jordan Love is going to get signed. But she was like, but Dak's she said the Cowboys are working very hard on Dak Prescott's contract, is what she said. So that would mean that Dak is going to get signed. The only way I see Dak not getting signed is if Dak refuses.
Right.
That's pretty much. Right. I mean, that's what's going to, if Dak just says, you know what? This final offer, we just can't get anywhere. I'm done. I'd rather just take my shot in the free agency next year. That's the only reason why Dak's going to get signed. Because with Dak, it's not that they're not working on it. They've literally talked to Todd France, but we will, because see, that's how I know conversations are being, when you say I'm talking to his agent, that's how you know negotiations are going on. Because y'all remember at the beginning of the season, I know y'all can't. Oh, sis, can you put us on the thing?
Oh, yeah, let me get it on.
I was like, because I'm just talking, but y'all remember at the beginning, at the beginning of the season, or the beginning of the off season, right? Like during draft time and stuff like that, they were saying they hadn't. Yeah, that's great. So just leave it like that, so we can't like really see it, but they were, remember what Jerry said? You don't have to talk to somebody necessarily, get negotiations, all that type of stuff. Jerry just saying BS. They were not talking. They were like, talking to Dak here and there, but they wasn't talking to his agent. You know what I'm saying? So now them actually talking to his agent, they are really negotiating. Now with CD, we don't know, but let's listen to this interview and see what they say.
Right? When is the only word I can think of when I think of you, right? Because I'm thinking, when is Dak getting done? When is CD getting done? When is Micah getting done? When is Mike McCarthy getting done? When? So when will we have some answers here, Stephen?
Well, those things take time, and we're talking about deals here. When you're talking about CD and Dak and, somebody like a Micah coming up. I mean, you're talking about two players that aren't quarterbacks that feel like they, ought to be a little bit like Jefferson, the top paid 9 quarterbacks in the league. And then, of course, you have Dak, who's obviously his resume speaks for itself. I think, he was second MVP voting last year. He's just.
Sis, you can put us back on the screen, because I'm like, that way we won't have to face copyright. Because it's like you can't really see the video. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I was like, just keep us on the screen.
Extraordinary career here in Dallas. And, those things just take time when you're talking about the amount of money involved. And of course, we're trying to a little bit play Houdini and how to keep all these guys around Dak and keep these players we were fortunate enough to draft. And, when you start stacking them up like that, it's a challenge. It's not that it's not doable, but you certainly got to, have some give and take if you want to do that. I know the Vikings there with Jefferson, when they, made that inordinate deal at the receiver spot, they don't have one player on their team other than Jefferson making over $20 million. And of course, we got a big one in Dak, and we got Diggs right there. And then you got Zach Martin and D-Law. And so we got a lot of guys making, quite a bit of money. And it's no excuses. We think we can get this done. Know we can get it done, but it just takes time.
And so let's kind of unpack it a little bit. So, number one, y'all know Jerry's famous saying, what did he say? Deadlines make deals, right?
Right.
For some reason, this is the Cowboys way, but I want to say to everybody in Cowboys Nation, please try to follow other teams. You're not going to follow them as hardcore as you follow the Cowboys, obviously. But what came out today? Brandon Ayuk's holding out. Well, he's holding in. He ain't practicing, but he's going there. Right. You got Jordan Love, he's also holding in. He's there, but he's not practicing because he don't have a contract. Then you got Trent Williams that came out today and said he's holding out. He ain't showing up. Like, Tua Tagovailoa still ain't paid. Like, exactly. We're not the only team, guys, right, that's not paying these players, because I think the owners are at a crossroads. I think the owners are at a crossroad because the market is really not explode. Or sorry, not the market, but the what's it, like the money, the TV, the salary cap. That's what I'm saying. That's what the salary cap is not exploding up like I think everybody foresaw. Like, right, it's just going up a couple. Like, for these past couple of, in the previous years, it has like exploded. But like, even with these new TV deals, it went up by like a few million, but it's not exploding. And at the same, it's like it's going up a little bit. But the way that the market is set up is, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you accomplish, basically. Right. It's all about, based off of how Boss explains, Boss Cowboy, shout out to Boss Cowboy Sports, is that you're paid based off of if you can be a franchise quarterback or not. You're not paid based off of playoff wins or anything like that. Right. You're paid off of what you can do in season, as well as if you're a franchise quarterback, which I think is mostly franchise quarterback. Because when you got guys like Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert, they don't win. They don't win in season. These guys hardly make playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So I think both of them, since they've been drafted, Kyler Murray and Justin Jefferson, I think have made playoffs once and lost. So you're paid based off of whether you're a franchise quarterback or not. But I think for all of these owners or whatever, when you got the salary cap, and then you got all of these players like we do, all these all pros that clearly you want to retain, because I don't think anybody wants to see Bland leave, even though we might have to let him go. Right. Or Ferg. I don't think anybody wants to see Ferg go. Who else? Tyler Smith? Right. We got a lot of all pros. And all of these, crazy because they want to flex, draft and develop, and we love our guys and all this. Okay, well, when you quote unquote do such a great job of developing your guys, so what, you just let them go? I mean, I think we talked about a couple months ago on our show about great Cowboys who don't get to end their career as Cowboys because they decide not to pay their players. We just talked about Tyron Smith leaving, and of course they're not great greats, but we've seen what's his name? Oh, we saw Collins. I forget his first name. We saw Collins leave, but Wouzier. And these guys, guys, Zeke had to leave, what I'm saying? So we just see guys who leave and go to other organizations, see how it's different, how it's actually a focus on football, how they're not the idea of money. Of course, these, like you said, other teams I'm not gonna say throw around money, but they don't have it thrown in their faces where, okay, well, you gotta do a list of things, and then we might think about paying you. They ain't gotta go through that, over and over the Bengals. They ain't gotta go through that over in Miami. I think Connor McGovern was the one who went to Miami. Like, these guys don't have to go through this extra stuff to get a contract. I'm saying they don't have to go through this mess. They don't have to wait till the day before training camp and thinking about whether I'm not going to get my contract. Well, we'll say some don't. Some don't. Because that's what I'm saying. Like, we think that nobody is waiting on their money, but that's not true. Jamar Chase ain't paid.
That's true.
They even talked about Jamar Chase contract. You know what I'm saying? T. Higgins not paid.
Sis, he almost had to beg for a franchise tag.
He's on the franchise tag. Like, There's a lot of people. What I'm saying is, it's frustrating when our players aren't getting paid. We wish that we could be like the Lions and we could just sign all our players early, the beginning of the week. I do agree with that. I'm not sitting here caping for front office and saying their way is right. But what I am saying is, we're not the only ones.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, teams are trying to find ways. And you look at somebody even like the Chiefs. Like, people hate when Stephen Jones talks, but he's not lying. The Chiefs really did let go of the best wide receiver in the league, and Tyreek Hill. They let him go. The Rams let go of Jalen Ramsey. You know what I'm saying?
They lost. He almost lost Chris Jones. He had to threaten.
Right.
He was at the Chiefs game, y'all, sitting up in the box. Talking about some payment, and they paid him because they saw what they had without him.
Right.
That's what these players have to do. They have to set the actual game to prove why you need them.
And that's Chris Jones. That's multiple All-Pro, multiple. So it's not just everybody is having to push and beg for their money because they want their money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And these teams have to make hard decisions. You can't realistically. People talk about Philly. Oh, Philly signed Jalen Hurts. They signed A.J. Brown, and they signed Devontae Smith. They sure did. But they also let Hassan Reddick go. They also lost Jason Kelce to retirement. Right. They lost their other, what's the other guy? Their all-pro defensive lineman. I forgot his Fletcher Cox. Yeah. Like, they still don't got no linebackers. They ain't got no safeties barely. They got all rookie cornerbacks.
They lost Gardner. They lost Gardner Johnson a couple years ago because they didn't pay him.
Right, like Howie is playing the balance game too. In the way he's paying Saquon right now, he can get rid of Saquon if he wants right now. Like, everybody is playing the cap game, and the thing is, it's true.
Yeah.
If you can sign all these players, but what they're doing is they're kicking the cans down the road. You know what I'm saying? Take this money, convert it here, move it here. And that's what I know. We don't want to hear this because it's annoying, and it's no excuses. Like Stephen said, he said it's no excuses. We can get it. That's what he said. He said it's no excuses. We can get it done. But we're trying to figure out how we can keep our core together as long as possible, because what they did, they kept restructuring all these contracts. Like, they restructured Michael Gallup's contract, and I think we got dead money for him for 2 more years. One is like $8 million, and so we still paying. Like, guys, there's something we still paying. We had a dead cap
here. Still paying Jalen Smith.
What? Right. Years. I think we finally stopped paying him, but there's just a lot of. And when we say paying, the players have already received their money, but we're talking about dead cap, which means they're still taking up the cap. You know what I'm saying? Even though they've gotten the cash, they're still taking up the cap. So that's the problem with what our front office did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They kept restructuring to open up money and restructuring. And so they've just restructured so damn much. Right. Now it's like, we got 9 All-Pros.
Right.
Oh God. Exactly. They like, oh shoot, we got all these all pros. How we gonna pay these guys?
Right.
Like, guys, really think about it. You have to pay Dak, CD, and Micah. And I know people are entertaining trading Micah. I think it's the dumbest shit ever. You just don't trade generational players. You do not trade generational players unless you're a sucky team and you really need to recoup a lot of capital. Right. So I don't know why people keep saying I just think it's so stupid, but whatever. But you gotta pay CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott. Then you gotta pay. Let's say Jake Ferguson has a crazy year. Let's say Jake Ferguson. I don't think he's gonna get All Pro. I think that's a little ambitious. But let's say he gets All Pro or he has a Pro Bowl. He was already a Pro Bowler last year. What's up, Darren? Puzzle, good to see you.
What's up, Darren? How you doing, Rich?
As y'all watching, please like the video. Please, if y'all could go to both of our streams and like it, please. Yes. Show us both some love. That'd be great. But so you got Jake Ferguson, Pro Bowler. I'm pretty sure he'll probably be a Pro Bowler this year too. Okay. Yeah. Then you got Tyler Smith, All Pro. Then you got DeRob Bland, All Pro. So now that's 3 more big contracts. right?
Yep.
Then it's like you just don't know who else is gonna be all pro and pro bowlers, and all these guys want money.
Right.
The reason why Steven keeps bringing up Tyler Biotis is because Tyler Biotis was a pro bowler that we had to say bye to. Now, granted, he was not good, and I'm glad he's gone. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of what we think about Tyler Biotis, like, he's a good center. Is he a great center? No. Is he a good center? Yes. So that's what we're talking about. Like, there's a lot of players, and as Steven said, there's no excuses. So I'm not sitting here. They 100% did this to themselves, 100%. Yeah. But the fact is, regardless if they did it to themselves or not, what's done is done. And so, as Steven said, they really are trying to play a musician. Like, okay, what can we do? Because it's like they're trying to basically fix it to where, like, that's why next year I do think Zach Martin will be gone. I do think DeMarcus Lawrence will be gone. I think both of those guys might just retire, honestly.
Yeah, that's
I think both of them. Yeah, I think both of them. I think Zach Martin and D-Law are both ready to retire. And if they don't retire, they may play one more year on another team and then they'll retire. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. I don't see for either of them. They've had good long careers, multiple Pro Bowl, All Pros. I just don't see them. I don't see D-Law playing until he's like 35 or 36. I don't see Zach Martin doing that either. I think they're pretty much almost done. Yeah. So, you'll have those guys off the books, but then they'll also still have dead cap hits. So basically, it's just trying to figure out how can I keep our homegrown players, but some of them is going to have to go because that's why, they may have to make some trades or something like that to be able to recruit some draft picks and stuff. So, there might be a player that we really like, we see get traded off because. And
I'm really glad you brought that up, Star, because that could really be, and that's actually funny because you bring up Zach Martin, you bring up D-Law, two positions, right, that they actually kind of went hard on, this past offseason. We saw them go through the draft. You saw them even go through UFL, for mad defensive ends. And of course, we saw them bringing 3 O-linemen through the draft. But of course, we know, I think they, before that, we had Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass. So we just have really just, and I think you mentioned this, Star, like what other organization you see in the NFL would really, I don't want to say a plethora because knock on wood, you can never have too many offensive linemen, but we just have such a deep room and guys who have been here for maybe 2 to 3 years. I think maybe going on 4 years. I think Terrence Steele. I think this is his 3rd, 4th year maybe.
Yeah,
we have guys who have.
Terrence Steele. This is his 5th year. Because he was an undrafted free agent in 2020.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So he's a 5th year, and we just signed him and Diggs last offseason.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we just resigned.
So we got them through. I think they both signed 5-year deals. So we still have both of them technically for 4 more years. But I do think there's an out in their contract to where we could probably get out of their contract in 3 years, maybe rather than 4. Something like that. I don't know. I'd have to look.
Yeah, and I can see them. I don't want to speak too soon because I know we're not there yet. But I can see them kind of getting out of Terrence's, maybe just because of
if he doesn't recover. If he doesn't recover and really return back to form, they probably will get out of his contract. If Diggs. And I just did. Y'all check out my video. I did a great hype video on Diggs. I'm very excited for him.
Make sure y'all watch that.
Check out my video.
There's highlights there. There is just everything in that video. Y'all,
I worked so hard on that video. So y'all check out that video that I did with Diggs. But if Diggs don't return back to form, I think that they probably won't get out of his contract and they'll just sign Deron Bland. You know what I'm saying? So
so I think they're very I don't want to say proactive because they haven't made crazy moves in these positions, but like we just mentioned, them kind of going deep in those in those positions in those regard to those players. Like I think that's a good point you bring up. Like I think I do see Zach Martin maybe being hopefully. Prayers to the football guys that he's able to retire as a Cowboy, at least have one of our greats be able to retire as a Cowboy, right? As far as D-Law, like you said, I still see him having some gas in the tank after this year. Of course, depending on how he plays, we haven't seen it just yet, but I can see him playing.
He could come back for a cheap deal too. He did restructure his contract, so if D-Law still wants to play, we will keep him, but he's gonna have to obviously take another pay cut. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if D-Law wants to do that. it really is about if these players want to be here. But it's like the fact of the matter is like we got so much young, talented players. We kind of got to get these older guys off our books. Like we kind of just have to. We don't want to. I mean, part of the reason why you have to let Tyron Smith go. And it's not that he costs so much, but it's just like, listen, we can bring in a younger guy, develop him for way cheaper, and then on top of that, Tyron Smith. Y'all go back and watch the film. But I had been saying it before. Before y'all go watch Lombardi. He's been doing breakdowns of why the run game was terrible last year, and a big part of that was Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith is not a run blocker. He's a great, when he's healthy, he's a great pass blocker.
Yeah.
But when it comes to running, and when you see how our team is built, like look at our formations. We ran a lot of 12, 13 personnel. It's like Tyron Smith just really did not fit.
Yeah.
He didn't fit. We're trying to go to a power West Coast scheme.
Right, and you missing that a lot last year.
Right, we didn't have that because you had liabilities on the line, and Tyron Smith in the run game. You had liabilities with Tyler Biotish in the run game.
Yeah.
So some of these guys we gotta push out because it's like you didn't fit our scheme, and you old. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's go ahead and push you out and just let somebody else come in. You know,
like you mentioned, just even we talked about Zach Martin last year not being able to reach that second level to be able to maul these, to be able to finish these tackles off for the run game to be able to flourish. So like you said, bringing in younger guys, bringing in maulers, even. Like a
right, younger guys, maulers, right? It's just, and you're okay. We're okay with BB falling on the ground. We're okay with Tyler Guyton and Tyler Smith on. Do you want Tyron's old ass mauling people and falling on the ground? Right. No, you do not. You absolutely do not want Tyron on the ground under any circumstances. So that's the problem, guys. It's like. So, it might sound like it's all bullshit, but everybody really does have to make hard decisions. The Bengals franchise T. Higgins, because this is probably his last year, but they're like, we can't afford to lose him right now because we got to develop Jermaine Burton. So the teams have to play the game and try to they really are trying to keep the teams together as long as possible, but you have to make some decisions because you can't keep all your Pro Bowlers and all pros. Not the way that the salary is, and no one is keeping all of their Pro Bowlers and all pros. They're keeping some, but they're not keeping everybody because it's just it just doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? But we'll listen a little bit more of this interview. Let's see.
Are you confident, Steven, that you can get Dak done? Because as you know, he's in the last year of his contract. Mike McCarthy's in the last year of his contract. Those are the two most important positions in all of sports, really. A head football coach and his quarterback, they're both going into sort of lame duck years. And what happens if you can't get Dak done? Is there a deadline? Is he going to set it? Do you guys have a deadline to be set?
Well, the answer to that question is we are optimistic that we can get these guys done. I know Dak, our goal is to get him done. He knows that. We're having conversations and, with his agent, with Dak personally, both Jerry and myself. And he knows our goal is to keep him here. He also understands the challenges. And, you see, what happens to teams when you do have these high-priced quarterbacks. At some point, it's a challenge to keep everybody. Obviously, the Chiefs are an example of that, but they were able to, survive not keeping Tyreek Hill and, some other top players. I think they
I will say this too.
Go this year.
The Chiefs struggled tremendously when they let Tyreek Hill go. They had to really have their defense really become way better. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they had to really rely on the defense. Right. They had to rely on the defense because the Kansas City Chiefs offense for the past 2 years has been ass. It hasn't been good. You know what I'm saying? But they've been able to rely on that defense and still win them Super Bowls, because they still are coached by two Hall of Fame coaches in Andy Reid and Spagnuolo. So, but still, like they had to go without. The Chiefs offense looked terrible. The Chiefs offense looked so bad this past year. I was like, there's no way they're making playoffs. Right. That's how bad they look. Like when I saw them getting their asses whooped by the Broncos, I said, oh no, like they were pretty bad. Everybody was shocked, honestly, to see the Chiefs how they just looked. They stuck to that game plan in the playoffs, and it worked out for them. They ran that ball and they played defense.
I was gonna say that's one thing they had throughout the year. Really, I mean, they once they got Pacheco going, running the ball. He said because we had no idea who their receivers were when they went out and got Juju Smith-Schuster, and there's no slight to him, but he was one of the first wide receivers off the market. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. They literally did wide receiver by committee. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, but when you have elite coaching, you can kind of make up for the lack of talent. And they lucked into actually getting a pretty fire running back in Isaiah Pacheco. Exactly. They looked into him because he was a 7th round pick. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what's up, fam? Shout out to Country Crane as well. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, Country Crane? Got to see you. You're new. I don't think I've seen you before, but thank you. Appreciate you, brother. And your kind words.
From Twitter.
Yeah, he's from Twitter. Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say another good point from this interview. I know they didn't speak about it a lot in the clip that we listened to, but make sure you guys go listen to the full interview. One thing I do like about what Ms. Rossini and what Chase Daniel did do during this interview is that they brought up the fact of McCarthy's contract, not just Dak, Micah, and CD, but them also bringing up Mike McCarthy, because as we've seen the past few years, Steven loves to say we won the most regular season games over the last 3 years. Well, who do you think had a part in that? And I don't think, I don't know. I haven't listened to every word Stephen Jones has said, but I don't know if I really hear Stephen Jones saying, well, because of McCarthy, and it's not solely because of McCarthy. That's not what I'm saying, but I don't hear Stephen Jones saying. I've heard Jerry say it. Shout out to McCarthy, for getting us through these past years, getting us to the playoffs, things like that. But I haven't heard Stephen say it. But he's quick to say, we won more regular season games than the Chiefs, than this, that, and the third. But I never really hear him mentioning because of McCarthy. You know what I'm saying? So I like he brought up the fact that McCarthy's on his last year of the contract, and there's no salary cap. Shout out to Law Nation, who always says, for coaches, there's no cap on what you can pay coaches. You know what I'm saying? So at least his deal been done. Like she said, the questions always when it comes, to the organization.
Right. So, it's like, when are you? And I think with Mike McCarthy, I would love for him to get signed now. I think even if you could just give him like a 2-year extension or whatever, but I think what they're doing with the coaches is how they're going to put the pressure on, because as they're saying, they are going to sign their top players.
Right.
But I think they're putting the pressure on the coaches, because I'm going to be honest, last year, you can go back and pull it up. I did I have a short of it on my YouTube where I was saying it was really no excuses. And that's even with us being kind of in a linebacker.
There's excuses? You and Big Game?
I'm like, even with the thin of the linebackers or whatever, I was like, listen, we still got the packages. It's going to really come down to coaching, because last year was the first year that we really saw Jerry and Steven kind of stay out of it, stay out of personnel decisions. There might have still been a little bit of meddling, but not as much as it's been in years past.
Right.
And I think, I think it's unfair because, of course, they just gave Mike McCarthy play calling last year.
Exactly.
So I think they should restart the clock, but Jerry and Steven don't think that way, so they're not going to do that. Would I resign Mike McCarthy right now? Yes, I would. But Mike McCarthy spoke about it, and he's like, I've been in this position multiple times, and Mike McCarthy has actually refused multiple times to get extended before the season because he likes betting on himself. It's like that's the type of guy that Mike McCarthy is. He prefers, like, no, don't give me the contract now.
Yeah.
Because he believes that he can do more than what they expect and he can get more money. So that's what Mike McCarthy is doing. Mike McCarthy is betting on himself.
I don't mean to cut you off. So that's an excellent point you brought up, because this morning I listened to Skywalker Steele and, like we mentioned earlier, David Hellman, the interview that they did, and Mr. Hellman, he brought the fact that it could be McCarthy who decides not to come back. If he, whether he does good, whether he does bad, however the year ends up. But
exactly.
He could very well be like, what, I'm done with the shenanigans. I'm done with the whole circus. I'm out of here. So I'm glad you brought that up, because he very well, he can hold his own cards in his hand as well. He ain't got
exactly. He re-upped. He got him a new agent or whatever. And I think it really is going to be up to Mike McCarthy if he wants to be here or not.
Right. Right.
And I think if he does stay here, if he takes us deeper in the playoffs, I think he's gonna he's gonna be very strict with Jerry and Steven. He's gonna say, I got you further than any coach has done since Jimmy Johnson.
Facts.
You are going to give me full control of this team, and if you don't, I'm out. That's what I think Mike McCarthy's gonna do. I think he's gonna try to get us further than any coach has gotten us since Jimmy. And when he does it, he's going to tell Jerry and Steven, you will back off and you will give me control. And if you don't give me control, I'm out. And he'll have plenty of suitors.
Correct.
Plenty. So
correct. That's really, and I think that goes back to the point we brought up. I think that goes back to the point we brought up before, Star, about us not re-signing our great players, us letting players go to other organizations. We build up like the Cowboys, draft and develop, right? But then we see our good developed players walk on out the door to other organizations, and then they go to the Chiefs and are part of a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it happens. A lot of criticism I got to put on Dan Quinn too, because there's just a lot of players on our defense that just haven't developed at all.
Right.
Like
just seems
on our offense, you don't really see any players that just haven't developed at all. The only player that you can say that really they haven't developed is at all would be somebody like Peyton Hendershot, Josh Ball, and Matt Walesko. Those are probably the only three players on offense that you can say like they look just as bad as when they came here. But then on the defensive side of the ball, you know, you have players, you know, Nashawn Wright still here. He's not developed at all. And I guess you could put that on Al Harris too. Because it's like Nashawn Wright has not developed.
Yeah.
We barely seen Izzy Makwamu. Has Eric Scott developed? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Then you have on the defensive line, Chauncey. It's like we had never. It was so many players, even players that we got rid of last year. Like it's like Dan Quinn just relied on natural talent, and he just couldn't take the players anywhere else. So it's like if a player was like mid, good to mid, that was just what they were going to be because Dan Quinn just didn't have the ability to max out these players. You know what I'm saying? So. Or the coaches said, well, whoever you want to put it on. I don't know. What's up, James? Glad to see you. Shout out to Amp. Glad to see you, Amp, in the chat.
Amp, how you doing?
Amp is another Cowboys content creator, great content creator. Y'all please go subscribe to his YouTube. Please. And shout out to my guy, David. Love you, David. That's my guy. Appreciate you so much. But, I think I'm trying to see if there's any other part of this interview that's worth listening to. No, not really. I think we'll just leave it at that. Y'all can go listen. We'll put the link in the description so y'all can listen to the rest of the interview. But anyway, I think that, you know, Dak and CD will be signed. When I put out my bold prediction that Dak will be signed by his birthday, which is Monday. I think, and I'm saying that because one, what's up, Swain? Glad to see you.
Oh, it is. Right, yeah.
Well, his birthday's on Monday, yeah. So I think Dak will get signed by then. I think they've been working on it. I think they really are serious about working on it and getting that contract done. So I think it'll be done, and I think that Steven did that interview kind of preparing the fan base because it was just random. There was no reason for Steven to do that interview. Like none. Right. He just did it out of nowhere, you know. So I think that they're kind of like trying to do a mini rollout or whatever. Right. And I think that they're, you know, the focus seems to be focused on Dak. I know Calvin Watkins came out with their report that they're focusing on CD, but I mean their actions just don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Because in that interview, Stephen Jones don't say nothing about CD, talking to CD's agent. You haven't heard that. But you've heard that they're having active talks with Todd France. So I think they're trying to focus on that. I low-key think, and this could be a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but I low-key think that they put that article out with Calvin Watkins that CD is a priority to maybe kind of deter the Packers. Like the Packers think like, oh, you know, like we don't have to really worry about it because we have more time because they're not even worried about Dak anyways. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's what I think. No. Like I said, it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy theory. There's no facts or anything to back it up. It's just a feeling. But I do think and CD will probably be signed within the next couple of weeks. I think Dak and CD will be signed in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, hopefully.
Micah will be signed next year when he takes us to the woodshed. But and honestly, I don't want people to be shocked because they might franchise tag Micah.
I could see that. I can definitely, because
they might franchise tag him. Just to. They're gonna give him because they franchised D-Law twice too, and they gave him a big contract. So I'm not saying they're not gonna. They might just franchise tag because they might say with the cap hit it's easier if we just pay you this for 2 years and then we sign you. Like that's what I think is Stephen Jones is saying. We playing Houdini because they gonna keep the guys on the team. It just may not be everybody's got the big contract all at once. I think they may try to get some people off the books before signing Micah. I know people might say that's dumb as hell. I'm like, yeah, but when you ain't got the money, you got to make it work. And you got to make it work.
Yeah, and it's to keep one of your major players. I mean, why not? Like you said, it's just really just nonsense. Like you beg I ain't gonna say beg, but all these years you see these generational players who go to other organizations, and you want that for yourself, for your own organization, and the first time that player makes you upset and you're talking about trading them. That's why sometimes we talk about stuff like some of these Cowboys fans, maybe just gotten so, or I don't want to say me because I don't feel that way, but I will say I just as a general thing as a fan, like Cowboys fans have gotten maybe so impatient they just want results. Like we talked about earlier with Mike McCarthy, I forget where I heard it from. It might have been during that same interview with Dave Hellman and Skywalker, still not sure, but we talked about having Jason Garrett for years upon years and trial and error much, y'all? Trial and error, you feel me? So would you guys rather have to deal with that, or speaking in present terms, if you guys do want to get rid of McCarthy so bad, do you want to hire another head coach, out of, with uncertainty? You know what I mean? So
no thanks. I'd rather keep... Right.
No thanks.
I'd rather keep my coach. Right. The coach that's gotten us close to the same amount of wins as the Super Bowl winning Chiefs. I'll take that coach all day. You know?
Right.
And it's just about playing the numbers game and figuring out how to do it. And when you're talking about paying CD near $30 million, Micah Parsons going to be over $30 million, and then you paying Dak,
right?
What, 58?
Right.
58 to 60 million. Like, I think y'all need to realize that. Like, Stephen Jones was not capping. Like, Justin Jefferson
literally
is pretty much. There's other players that are near 20 with Justin, but it ain't 20 million, 30 million, 60 million. Like,
exactly.
Y'all can keep saying it's a joke, but it just around the league, they not. And if y'all look at the Eagles, Howie is already setting up to get out of that Jalen Hurts contract. Y'all know how he's going to get out of it. Like, if Jalen Hurts has a bad year this year, which I think he will, if Jalen Hurts has a bad year, Howie's like, bye. Y'all know Howie don't care about no. He signs people just to move them. He signed Carson Wentz just to get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how Howie is. So they ain't going to be having all these high-priced players for long. And hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Howie trades A.J. Brown next season.
I was just going to say, I'm surprised he got his second contract.
Right. Honestly. And they probably just
Smith
they probably literally just gave A.J. Brown an extension just so that they could sign some free agents so that they could stay afloat. That's what it was. That's what it's really about. And they couldn't have Jalen Hurts. They still need Jalen Hurts to have that wide receiver. If he just doesn't know at all what's going on, he can just throw it up.
Right.
Because they're changing. They are changing the offense completely. So, yeah. I think everybody just got to figure it out. But I do, like Steven said, I'm holding to his word that there's no excuses and that we will get it done. It just may not be that everybody gonna get all done at once, but I think, we'll get it done and we'll try to keep our absolute best players, like we've done historically. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I think we've been on here for a while, but I think we can just briefly.
Before we get out of here, we can just talk about, like you said, our top
camp battles.
Top 3 battles going into camp. You know what I'm saying? Just me personally, like, I mean, you guys, if you guys have followed my channel long enough, I'll go ahead and say my top battle, of course, is tight ends. I just love the tight end room. Going into the season, I'm excited,
and I'm excited for Scoon too. Yes, Scoon's gonna have a good. If he can stay healthy,
And I know we spoke about. I know on previous show we spoke about them possibly maybe putting too much on Schoon or
Yeah.
how they do personal things like that. Like, and just be. I don't want to see that. I don't. I'm not gonna say I don't think he's ready for it, but I don't want to. I want to see it implemented slowly. You know what I'm saying? I want to see them still put those type of situations on his shoulders, but don't. And I just going back and watching a few games from last year. I think the San Fran game, the Seattle game. I think maybe the Miami game. There were just a couple games where they came out either the first or second drive, and they were just trying to. It just like they were trying to force the ball to Schoon. Like there were some. I think early in the Jets game he had a touchdown. I forget another game he had early in the game. They tried going. I think the Philly game they tried going to him for a touchdown. But I think this mean they ended up coming up short. So I do want to see them put those situations on his shoulders, but just don't pile it on him. So he's still coming back, unfortunately, from another injury. But like you said, sis, just get his confidence slowly back up. You know what I'm saying? Get him, back involved with the room. He's already, having that rapport with the guys, and I think he can. I don't know if he's going to be that. I don't know if he's going to be that, maybe that second fiddle to Jake, Jake Ferguson, but I do still want them to put, just kind of rep the competition a little bit. Of course, we know JSJ, John Stevens Jr., of course, Brothers Span 4. I'm just really excited for that room. And even Hendershot, like, I know he hasn't developed as we wanted to, we saw a couple years ago, but,
he's on the bubble, but he can save his job.
Yes.
He can
and
save his job.
I was excited back when he was doing decent, when I guess they were there with him and Dalton Schultz, when all three of them were here. I love seeing that they have an active 3 tight ends on the field. So
right, and if you look at the scheme, we really did have those guys. Active. Guys, we look at the scheme. We're running a lot of 13 and 12 personnel, which means tight ends are on the field. We got about 2 to 3 tight ends on the field at all times.
Yes.
That's our scheme. Like that really is our. Go back and look at it. Like that's our scheme. So,
right.
And then my other 2 battles really is the center position. We talked about Brock Hoffman, Cooper Beebe. I love that they threw TJ Bass in the mix, but I think like we talked about earlier, Zach Martin may be gone next year. I think they're kind of holding TJ Bass possibly for the guard position next year, but and maybe possibly the left tackle. They're saying Guyton may not be ready. I mean, who knows? I mean, none of us want to go into the season with Schumann. No disrespect, but I just don't want any whiffs. You know what I'm saying? I don't want any mind lapses, things like that. And he's definitely a veteran. I'm just unsure about the position. And with them coming out saying Guyton may be redshirted, I mean, no one wants to hear that. Once again from your first round pick. But hopefully coming in training camp, he'll definitely develop. Working with Duke. Working with the rest of the line, getting that chemistry going. And I'll say my final battle. I'll say kind of a wild card for me. I'll say the safety position because I think it'll be interesting with them having just paid Dono. But I'm one of the guys, like I said, if you guys go and watch my series, one of my honorable mentions as the guys I'm excited and looking forward to this year is Wanye Thomas, because they used him a lot in camp last year. He got some snaps. We're doing returns. He stayed late in some practices. Was getting some extra work in. Mike McCarthy loves him. As I'm sure Zimmer is growing to love him. He says that just like everybody else on the team, he says Zimmer is a good teacher. He's saying he wants the defense done his way. And he sounds excited about, being implemented in his defense and, possibly giving Dono a run for his money. I know we have some other guys in the room, and we still have Hook coming back. So just I'm excited to see. I guess I say I know it isn't much of a competition, but I just want to see if Wanye can really step up and possibly snatch that position, or even if he doesn't snatch it, just possibly getting more, getting more time. Just being more of a part of Zim's. Actually getting real snaps. Maybe he's not the starter, but he's actually got packages schemed up for him. Yeah. So my 3 positions. So you said tight end, safety, and then who else you say?
And center position.
Center, right? Okay. So my position or my camp battle watch 1. I would say cornerback 3, nickel cornerback. Yes. Now Jordan Lewis came out yesterday, and he said he's another player, saying that he's super excited for Zimmer's scheme. He thinks that this scheme is going to fit him more than Dan Quinn, and all. That's about the 3rd or 4th player I heard say that, because I've heard Jordan Lewis say that, I've heard Sam Williams say that, and I've heard. What's up, Common Sense? Glad to see you. And I've heard DeMarvion Overshown say it.
Right.
So these are 3 players that said they are ecstatic for this scheme.
Yeah.
Well, when you've got so many defensive backs in the crossroads, I'm really interested to see, because Jordan Lewis, I'm not saying he's not going to be here, but can any of these young guys push Jordan Lewis? Can Kalen Carson push Jordan Lewis? Can Eric Scott? Everybody's saying Eric Scott done had a crazy offseason. Can he push Jordan Lewis?
Yeah.
Can Izzy McQuamu? That's the one guy that I need to find out. Is he still in the safety room? Is he? Because what can he push Jordan Lewis? We know he can play slot. He played in the playoffs, but I don't know. So you got you got about 4 guys for that slot corner, and I think personally Diggs will be ready by the season. I think they're going to pretty much probably let him They're going to let him slowly get into the mix. And I don't think from the video, if y'all watch my video, check out my video on Trayvon Diggs. It doesn't look like Diggs, he's physically ready, but he's going to obviously have to come on when it comes to the mental side of the game and all that type of stuff. And you also want to protect him because remember, he got hurt at practice. So it's like, you don't want to push him too hard and then lose him again. So you really want to slow walk him in. Yeah. So that you're going to see a lot of these other cornerbacks. So I think the cornerback position is a very, very important position because a lot of these teams like to cook you, through the passing game. And they also test your gangster, which can you tackle. So I think that's going to be a big thing for our cornerbacks. So I say the cornerback position, I think is important. I think obviously tight end, because we got such a backlog at tight end with, like you said, Jake Ferguson, Luke Schoonmaker, John Stevens Jr., Peyton Hendershot, Brevin Spanford, Princeton. There's such a backlog.
You're forgetting about Fant too. Like he was here last year too.
Exactly. Princeton Fant. So there's obviously a battle there, and then clearly
because he's gonna be. I don't mean to cut you off, but I really did forget about. And I don't mean no disrespect. I didn't mean forget about him, but he like being here last year. Him getting some. I think he only had like a couple snaps in preseason last year, so he's gonna be looking for to get more snaps, more time on the field, and showing that he belongs there as well. That's a good point. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
And another one that nobody's talking about as well is, of course, I care about the center position extremely. I'm going to be watching that close because I want my guy BB to be the starter. I love Brock Hoffman and his everybody. It's going to be interesting to see how they do that. But another position that I don't think people are talking about as well is the linebackers. That was our biggest question mark last year. Yes, we added Eric Kendricks. But who's the other two that's going to be standing next to him? I think it's wide open. I don't think it's Damone Clark's position to lose. I think Damone Clark has the most snaps, but when you are comparing him to Overshown and Maris Leofau and Willie, what's his name?
Harvey.
Willie Harvey. And the rest of these linebackers, we got so many linebackers. Like that's going to be a huge competition to see who's going to have those three. Well, we know Eric Kendricks, but who's going to be the other two linebackers? Is it going to be Micah? Another thing, Micah lost a lot of weight. Micah said he's back to his college weight.
Yeah.
So I was like,
241 he posted?
Yeah, 241. So I'm like, well, if Micah is going back to college weight, that means he's got to play more linebacker because it wouldn't, if you're going to play full-time DE, it would not make sense to get skinnier. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't make no sense. You wouldn't get skinnier if you're going to play full-time DE. You would get bigger. You would put on more muscle, put on more mass, which he clearly had done because he was playing more DE. So him going down to his weight and two more things, and I really want to do a show on it. But I think there's been hints. He hasn't put out film, and I think it's strategic. But I think there's been hints that Micah Parsons will be going back to more so what he looked like his rookie year of a 50-50 split. I do think he'll be doing more linebacker training because if you look at who he's been training with, he's been training with elite linebacker programs and coaches. So I literally got the videos and stuff on my phone, and I looked up these people that he's working with, and I'm like, these are elite linebacker programs and trainers. So I don't know. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing to see. You know, like
that could be really interesting. I mean, I think, and just listening to some interviews, like I don't know if you guys listened to, I think it was Demarion Overshown's interview came out. I think with Miss Nicole Hutcherson, and even earlier in this offseason, I think Scott McCurley spoke to it as well. I think they're looking at just like you spoke about Diggs, then bringing him back slowly. I think it's the same case with Overshown. I think, and he kind of hinted at that. I just noticed in his interviews, he keeps saying next year. He keeps saying at the end of this year. And McCurley said the same thing. He said that we're looking toward at the end of this. We're ready for him to be ready at the beginning of next year. So I think they're really and shout out to them. I'm happy for this to even hear this. That they're going to take their time bringing back Overshown, bringing back Diggs, because we don't want to rush these guys. And I think they see that that he has a great impact on this team, and he could be
he has a great trajectory, and you don't want to ruin a player by bringing him back too soon, because we did that with Gallup. Now Michael Gallup, shout out to Michael Gallup, but now Michael Gallup's retired.
Right.
And then you did it to Terrence Steele, and you just pray that Terrence Steele comes back to form. Right. Because you're talking about one of our best offensive linemen that just was not himself at all last year.
And Pollard as well. Pollard was
and Pollard too. And Pollard too. You know, Jordan Lewis too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these players was
shout out to Michael Gallup.
Shout out to MG, coming back from injury too soon. So maybe the Cowboys have learned their lesson, and and that just makes, these rookie player, Maris Leofold, that makes them all more important.
Facts.
So
I think they went, I'm sure you knew, I'm sure they went to the draft thinking that. And I'm also glad that Overshown knows it as well. That way he doesn't have to rush himself. And so you don't have the mindset coming in. Okay,
just take his time.
I gotta do this. I gotta be ready. I gotta be ready by this time. I gotta do this. Like he doesn't have that pressure on his shoulders.
And we can just sprinkle him in. Him in. So, but I really think this whole defense is gonna be built off of Micah Parsons, and Mike Zimmer is. Yeah, he's gonna build this whole defense off of Micah Parsons. Everything's gonna be predicated off of Micah. Whether it's Micah getting a sack or not, he's gonna set defenses up. He's gonna set offenses up because he's gonna make it look like Micah's coming. It's really somebody else. So I think this is gonna be the Micah Parsons show. Hence why Micah Parsons needed to get back to his college weight.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I'm just saying if you look at the tea leaves, it really don't make no sense. Why would Micah lose weight and then play DE full time?
True.
And TP, shout out to TP Terrence Parsons, which is Micah's brother. Maybe we can try to get him on the show. But he already said, like, my brother will not be locked in to the DE position like it was under Dan Quinn. He has said that multiple times. He said my brother will play what he's best at, which is being a versatile player, rushing, obviously, but rushing from not just the edge, rushing from the edge, rushing from the middle, as well as helping us control that middle of the field. So we're going to see. Michael Parsons obviously has heard all the noise. He's been training every day 2 to 3 times a day.
Right.
So he's trying to obliterate the record so that he can get the biggest bag possible. So I really do think he's preparing for a huge season. But anyway, that's my 3 battles of what did I say? I said linebacker, cornerback 3, and tight end position.
Yeah.
I think those are the 3 battles to really watch. Obviously, wide receiver, 3 or 4, but I just don't think it's that important. I think those other positions, because of the injuries, like the linebacker and the cornerback position, will be more important to watch.
Yeah,
because of the injuries in those rooms.
Yeah, and I think those, and we're gonna spot some of our staple stars because, like you said, we don't have our, Overshown gonna be sitting out, at least for a few weeks, probably more. So even though we have our guys in mind, who should be starters, I think like in the case of Diggs as well, coming back from injury, just trying to bring these guys back slowly. Of course, CD's gonna be out, so the young wide receivers are gonna get more time to step up. So we're still looking, like you said, we're still looking for the wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, because we do need to. We're gonna have to bring in more, like you said, with their packages. We're going to bring in these guys. They're going to have to come in and do the dirty work, come in and do the blocking. So they're going to get the preseason to be able to show what they
running
have.
Back is also a good honorable mention as well. Running back.
Yes.
We didn't talk about that, but Deuce, I want to see, are they really going to give Deuce a chance?
Right.
I really want to see.
And had they really bogged down and trying to find things to kind of get him involved in
right, exactly. I want to see, what have y'all really spent the time on? Have y'all really developed and improved the scheme?
Right.
Because y'all improved the running scheme. Y'all brought in a coach from Boston College. Y'all brought him in.
Yeah, Shimko,
to help. Yeah, Shimko. Y'all brought him in, Steve Shimko, to help with the run game. So I want to see the changes, Mike. Mike, Solari, Schottenheimer. I want to see the changes, because a lot of the issues with our, this will be the last thing we say. Y'all please be sure to like the video, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. And donate. Y'all see our Cash App here on screen.
Cash App, y'all.
But a lot of the reason why our run game sucked last year is because we just had too many free rushers. We had freaking cornerbacks and safeties coming up and stopping the run because there was nobody to block them. You know what I'm saying? So so we definitely gotta fix the run scheme if we want to be better this year, because last year we just didn't really have the personnel to run what we was trying to run, and we just didn't have a great scheme. That's obviously how you have literal cornerbacks and safeties coming up and stopping the run single-handedly. Hopefully we improve.
No, I was gonna say, and we don't. I don't know. In my opinion, I'm not really trying to wait until roster cuts to see if we can find another running back. Like, y'all should have been handled this. We shouldn't be worried about, like, our run game was a problem last year, and for us to be still unsure about what the run game is going to look like, I don't like that at all. I just really bothers me. And
camp is 4 weeks, so I think they're going to do a 2-week evaluation, and if they don't like what they see, they will bring in a defensive tackle. I think they're going to bring in a defensive tackle regardless. I just don't know how soon. But I do think that they will bring in a defensive tackle and a running back within a 2 weeks time. If they feel like this is not going to cut it.
What it looks like, Right, because it's just so much uncertainty.
They will bring somebody. They will now, whether it's high roller players. No, but we always bring in some people close to the start of the season with significant impact.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys for hanging in there with us. I know we kind of had a late start, coming into. We want to make sure you guys got this content because as we know, camp starts tomorrow. Opening press conference is tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune into that. Hopefully.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, make sure you guys. I think tomorrow you got a show with big games, so I'm sure you guys are going to cover that. I'm definitely going to be tuning in. So,
I think Big and I should have our show should have our show tomorrow at 7. The Big Star Show will be live on my channel. Really excited to get into what we're gonna get into. But special announcement. Mickey is going to training camp. And when you going next week, right, sis?
Yeah, I'm going out next Wednesday, you guys. Yeah.
Next Wednesday, and we also will have a special guest next Wednesday. I was gonna tell y'all today, but I'm not gonna tell y'all. But we will have y'all have a
next week.
Right, we will have a very special guest next Wednesday. I'm really excited. And we're gonna get into some things because by then, it'll be about a week of camp that's gone on. So we're gonna have lots more to talk about. And we're gonna have special insight as Mickey gonna be there on the ground. We also, the person that we talking to is gonna be there on the ground. So we're gonna have direct eyes on what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So but y'all stay tuned.
Shout out to Star, for making this possible. Like we're like she said, we're really just trying to not revamp, but just really trying to improve the show, bring you guys better content, trying to spice up the show a little bit. As you guys, Star got the graphic going on, got us looking fly, skin glossy, you know what I'm saying? So new season coming on, y'all, new type show. We trying to get spiced up for y'all, and we really appreciate y'all time, appreciate y'all, donate, like you said, donation, appreciate the likes, the shares, the subscription. All that, you know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate your time. Catch us, just keep your notifications on. Make sure you guys follow us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
See you guys next week. See y'all.